Hi, I'm Sam. I'm an artist, graphic designer and illustrator from Leicester, England. I like travelling, creating, cooking, going to the game, jumping in the water and stuffing my face. In early 2023, I decided to put all my stuff into storage, sell my car and go travelling, embracing life as a digital nomad, flying around the world and working remotely in other countries. So far, it's been a blast. I've been making memories, exploring different cultures and embracing different ways of life. I've made a bunch of new friends, had a bunch of visitors from back home come out to stay with me, tried local cuisines, fell into tourist traps and had way too much sunshine. Some of my favourite days since I've been away are the days where I put the iPad in a bag, gone for a wander until I found somewhere to post up, enjoying the scenery and drawing something. So I want to bring you with me as I document my journey and try to adjust to life on the move, finding inspiration and living my dream of working and travelling, drawing and exploring. What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of Drawing and Exploring with me, Sam Grubb. Today I'm in Mexico City, obviously in Mexico. I've been here for 3 months already and I'm into my last few days here. I'm pretty sad that I'm leaving. But yeah, I just want to squeeze every last drop out of Mexico City. It's one of the coolest cities I've ever been to. There's so much happening. And I've already done one video on Mexico City, but I figured I'd do another, I'll probably run over the same stuff. So it's an ancient city. It's one of the, I think it's the biggest city in the Americas. There's over, 20 million people live here and 600,000 Americans, which is the biggest collection density of Americans outside of America. It's the most polluted city in the world. It's an ancient city. It was also built on a lake, and because of that, it's sinking. It sinks 9 meters every 100 years. But it's super cool. It's super, you can see it's kind of like, this is the vibe. It's very feels very metropolitan, very safe. It's got a huge police presence, right? So from the first second I touched down in Mexico, it's got a crazy police presence. You see police everywhere you go. I think I read online that it's one police person to every 100 civilians. But yeah, it's really safe. It's obviously not really safe. There's stuff that goes on here, but I feel like in the media that we get in the UK, it's misrepresented, and I've not felt in danger at any point the whole time I've been here. So it's been a really cool experience. But yeah, last couple of days, so I'm just trying to soak it in. And one thing I wanted to do yesterday that I didn't get around to doing, that I'm going to just go do now, is I want to ride the cable car system one more time. So they've got this insane, it's the biggest urbanized cable car system in the world. And it was built, I can't think when it was built, not too long ago. It's relatively new. My guess would be around 2012. And it's to help people, all the people who work in the city, a lot of the people, there's a really high density in the southeast of Mexico City. Huge population lives there. And so they're traveling into the city every day, hence the pollution. So what they did was they built this cable car system to help commuters, but it's so cool. It's like I say, it's massively modern. It's huge. I think I read the other day that there's 2 lines that join together. And on the first one, there's over 600 cars. And on the second one, there's over 500 cars. So it's just like the biggest thing. It goes on for miles and miles. And it's really cool. I think the coolest thing is, along the way, they had a big regeneration project to paint a load of the buildings, make them really colourful. But then following that, artists took to painting rooftop murals along the route. So it's kind of like an art gallery in the skies. You ride this route, and to go do the whole big main loop takes about maybe an hour and a half. But as you ride over these buildings, you've got all these murals, nods to the heritage or cultural things or sports things, or just general artwork. But it's super cool. So I figured I'm going to go ride that one last time, and the views are breathtaking. So I thought it'd be a miss if I left Mexico and didn't put those views in a video. So right now I'm on my way to the metro station. I'm going to take the metro. I've got my metro card, and that's going to bring me out near the beginning of line 2. And then we can jump on that and take in some of the views. So to ride the cable bus, it costs 8 pesos. If £1 is 22, I think that's just shy of 50p. And it's really obviously quite a place for the commuters and people who work in the city. But the views are just amazing. It's a really nice ride. It's dead smooth. It feels really modern, really new. They squeeze about 8 of you at most into a cabin, into a, what would you call it, a cabin, a car. I think there was 5 or 6 of us this time. But it's nice, you've got little ventilation with like little slats where it's letting a little breeze through. People just going about their business. Yeah, and there's 7 stops on the second line. And my favourite part of the line is when it gets to the end of the second line and you join onto the first line. The first part where you go over, like I said, that's the place where you've had all the rejuvenation in terms of the colourful buildings and everything's had a fresh lick of paint. Some of the murals are awesome, like I see new ones every single time I ride. So yeah, really super cool to see another part of Mexico City, and the views are just breathtaking. I'm going to show you this little bit where we go up and over the hill. It's my favourite part.
No es bien difícil ya. Si no te dicen, no es difícil ya. ¿Quieres saludar a si es que
Sí, me dijo Carmen.
So I've made my way back via cable bus and then metro and then actual bus and then city bike. And now I'm down in the centre and it's time to eat. I think today's episode is a little bit back to front. Normally I'd go explore something, draw something, eat something, then sign off. Whereas today it's time to eat. And obviously because I've been out from early, I think that's the one. But yeah, so this taco stand I saw yesterday, I feel like I get sucked into the whole Googling places, looking at reviews. That's another thing about Mexican people, by the way. They're very generous with the Google reviews. It's hard to find a place that's not at least 4.5 stars. But yeah, I feel like I get bogged down in the whole Google thing. So the times when I do see something and it looks really good, I try and take the opportunity to get it and just steer out of my phone a little bit. And this place was a place where I tried to go to yesterday, and it was closed around 8 o'clock in the evening. So I figured maybe it's like a lunch service kind of place. And I've just got down here today and it's here, so happy days. I'm going to go have a look. They've got like steak and they were serving these little potatoes with it. There's a few people sat around just on little stools having a munch. And it's right in the middle of the mix. Look at this. Nice quiet ambience just to eat some lunch. I'm going for it. But yeah, I'm going to get stuck into these tacos. Let's have a look what's going on. Okay, Taqueria El Charro, what's that? Uganda. This one was just on a corner, kind of like in the middle of the town. I love these setups. I love any food where it's kind of like a have it your own way vibe. They had a bunch of different meats. I made a rookie error. I ordered two, what was it? 2 sirloin and 2 of the Arracherra, I think it's called. Another beef steak. But I should have just got like 1. Say I wanted 4 tacos. Yeah, chips. I saw the chips and I was like, yeah, this looks like a nice little spot. I feel like if you're allowed to have chips as your favourite food, I think chips genuinely might be my favourite food. I feel like I just want chips all the time. I'm never not in the mood for chips. I said to her, load me up a little plate. They look good. They were little crispy ones.
Here, going for a little bit of the guac, some of the fried onions, a little bit of the green sauce to start. I think that's my move, you know, start with the green sauce, then test the red sauce after that. But yeah, £6.25. Look at that, what a beautiful munch, straight down. Sat on this little stool just round the corner, squeezing some lime on them, nice juicy chunks of meat. Getting to work, look, I'm killing myself, sweating. It was kind of spicy, but they were good. Chips were little thin, crispy ones, they were really tasty. Nice with the sauce on them. Munch, munch, munch. Look at this spot, just here chilling at the roadside. Had this beautiful little beam of sunshine just landed on me. I was really enjoying the sun on my face. I was thinking, this is cool, man. Just sat out here in the middle of it, just eating some nice tacos. The meat was so good. Yeah, they were great. They had this bucket with ice and cold drinks, and there was a little shop right next to it that was selling drinks. So I got to work. I literally forgot that I bought that Boing. I don't think I ever drank it. I think I left it in an Airbnb that I was in when I was in Mexico City. Okay, what's that? Tierra, Garat, Salamanca. This was a spot where when my friend Brad was in town, we went to just a nice little coffee shop. I remember it had it was on a kind of a quiet back street, wasn't too busy, so I thought, yeah, I'll pull up there, it'll be a good vibe. Get the pen working. So carrying on with the Bochos theme, I wanted to get in another Volkswagen. But here, I just wanted to experiment with a new style that I'm trying to work out without outlining. These kids would turn up, there was like a graduation or something, they all come by going mad. But yeah, like I said, trying to experiment with like outlining as little as possible. I still think it's like my nature to just try and outline stuff. Like I said on the last video, with this, I've dragged in the photo and I've traced the outline of the car. And I'm kind of torn because I know it's bad practice, and I had a peer of mine say, I'll regret it. And I was thinking, damn, maybe he's right. And obviously with this kind of nomad life, just sticking the iPad in the bag is so much easier than carrying around a whole art studio. And I'm keen to use the digital tools and see what they can do. I'm thinking like, should I think of it kind of like having a calculator in my pocket? You know, and I think maybe it was bad practice 20 years ago to like trace a Volkswagen and use that as the basis for an illustration. But I kind of want to experiment with new stuff, and I'm hoping that it might even help me get used to the shapes, even if it is bad practice. But I'm interested to experiment and see. Here, this dude was taken from an illustration panel from my calendar that I did last year. And I had a guy with like a similar sort of body shape leaping over in a similar way. So I thought that'd be a cool thing to bring back. Yeah, wow, it's really taking shape already. I guess without outlining and filling and going through the regular steps, it's kind of like you end up in this place where whole sections of the illustration are finished. Trying to do some fun stuff with a shade in here, just like different kind of texture to what I'd normally go for. I definitely do need to experiment more with brushes, I think, especially in these things where I'm not necessarily drawing something for a client where they want my certain style. I think I need to try and evolve and push myself, like to use different brushes and different kind of strokes. I had an old colleague of mine got me in Secret Santa a couple of years back, and she gave me a load of ProCreate. She was an illustrator herself. She gave me a bunch of ProCreate like paper textures and different brushes and stuff. And her artwork was a lot more painterly and a lot more kind of classic digital painting. But I've still never looked in the file. I need to get it open and install a load of new brushes. I need to just spend some time doing that. But yeah, here I'm using ProCreate, which is the software. I know I mention it in most episodes, but it's super cool. It's super cheap. It's on the App Store. It's optimized for iPad. And it's just industry standard. It's really easy to use. It's so nice. I learned how to use it in like a day. Bunch of helpful videos online showing you some tips. I'm using a second generation Apple Pencil, and it's a 12.9 inch iPad Pro. I think it's a 2021 model. But yeah, adding some highlights here. I usually do like a white highlight layer, whereas here I'm again trying to do some new stuff, so I'm trying to go with this yellow kind of moonlight beating down sort of thing. Little dunce cap on him. Stupid haircut. With a little propeller on the top. A lot of layers in this illustration. That was the thing. I remember I kept having to flatten stuff down and like squeeze layers together. For anyone who kind of isn't savvy with, like, I don't know, Photoshop probably would be most people's entry point, but the layers thing, the way it works is almost like, imagine like an overhead projector that you'd have in school back in the day, and you're putting layers of acetate on top of it to build like an image from the bottom to the top. It's kind of like that. So as you move layers up and down, they might reveal new parts of the layer that were previously hidden by others, or it might make sense to isolate certain things like your line work on one layer so you can kind of manipulate it later in the flow. You can see that little panel that I keep bringing up on the right hand side, that's the layers panel. Little simple kind of woolen thing. I think I might have been using a clipping mask there just to keep it inside the hat. I can't remember when I was drawing this whether I had a pre-established palette that I was leaning on, or if I'm just kind of tapping on the wheel and picking new colours out. And I think maybe once I've got a few in, I'm just eyedropping. Oh no, sorry, there we go at the bottom. There's a palette. I'm talking rubbish. So yeah, the little swatches at the bottom, if you hold your finger on those, I can use those then. Like, that's the colour that the pen takes on. There's this little creep with his wide neck. A couple of palm trees just for good measure. A few freckles. Little details, little shadows. Kind of like this, you know, this is like, I spoke about it in another episode, but like this kind of flow state part, I think this is the part of me that really enjoys illustration, where you're kind of not really concentrating and you're just adding, building, and you're so close to it that you don't step back to have a look at how much adding these little textures is kind of building the illustration. I think if you get lost in this, I think it's like the Japanese masters, that's the thing, it was always meditation. You look at these crazy paintings that they do, like the woodblock paintings and stuff, and it's just this attention to small details, like crowds of people where there's loads of them. There's one thing I've been thinking about with this whole series. I'm like, okay, cool, so I'm doing these episodes where I've kind of got, I want to show the whole process every time I'm drawing, but then I'm also thinking it'd be cool to do some pieces that are a little bit longer. I don't know whether that would be engaging, doing a drawing that's spanned over a few episodes, you know, coming back to like the same piece and really trying to make something insane with loads of detail. I'm really not sure, or whether to keep it like this, where it's kind of like one episode, one illustration, in and out, we see the whole process, might be better. Giving this guy a couple of little tattoos. I need to look at some tattoo flash sheets for inspiration, because I feel like I just always draw the same stuff. I'll do like a year, maybe a dagger, something like that, some diamonds. Adding some little stars here. Days turn to night. Like the powdery sort of texture with the sky in the background. Just using, I think that was a chalk texture, a chalk brush. Putting in a couple of clouds. So like this, for example, this is where the layers come in handy, because I can draw the clouds on top of the sky but behind the palm tree. Makes it a lot easier. And then once they're in, I can kind of just set them back a little bit, take the opacity down, maybe draw over the top of them a little bit, fiddle with them. More tattoos for this guy. I don't know with those two symbols which one's male and female, so I thought if I just do both, then happy days. Here I'm thinking like little smoky texture. So this is the Freycinet brush. This is a brush that's a stock ProCreate brush that I like to use, and I think it's really responsive. If I set the brush kind of relatively high, and then I can just manipulate it nice and easily. I like as well using this brush, and you can see on the left side, so the bar that's just on the black bar with the two little dials on it. What would you call those? Sliders, I guess. Faders? What would you call it? I don't know. That one that I just moved down either way, that's the opacity. So you can change the opacity of a layer, but you can also change the opacity of your brush as you're using it. So it kind of like, imagine a pen that's kind of watered down. And I like to keep it at like 80% because I think it leaves in some of the sketchy kind of imperfections under some of the line work, and you can kind of go over stuff twice and just thicken it up a little bit, make it a little bit more crisp than the first line. Little details, little details, little details. Love how you can zoom right in and out of the project. The same thing, one of these kind of smoky snakes wrapped around his leg. Little shadow, just for good measure. Same on this one. Checking last few little bits, just a couple of little shadowy bits that I missed. Highlights on his glasses. What am I trying here? A little skyline, okay. Nice, behind the hazy smoke from the cloud. Or the volcanic ash. A few little birds. I feel like I'm kind of drawing the same stuff every time I draw at the moment, but I feel like if I just commit to this grind and I'm recording episodes and out drawing stuff like this every week, I think my style is naturally going to evolve and I'm going to draw new things. Trying a little stuff here. I wasn't sure. I wanted something that sat in the distance there, but I don't think the hand looked quite right. I couldn't nail it, so I thought, yeah, let me do a flying saucer. More smoke in the sky. Add some more depth to it. A little bit of detail just on the palm trees, and that's the final thing. There we go. Half dead, the boys jumping over it. Little midnight meeting.
The artwork's finished and day's turned to night once again in Mexico. I need to make my way back. I think I'm going to jump on the city bikes again. I'm not too far from the apartment, but it's just a nice temperature right now for bike riding. So yeah, just want to say thanks to anyone who locked on, anyone who stuck around on the video, anyone who doesn't know me who's found their way here. Amazing stuff. Thanks for watching. And I want to big up the socials. So if you're interested in the artwork and the sort of different project work that I post, best place for you to go to is the Instagram, which is @SamGrubArt. So go there, you see all the art from these episodes and all different projects that are going on and stuff. Also, I need to start shouting out the TikTok, even though at this moment in time there's nothing on the TikTok account. I think when I launch this channel out, I'm going to start posting videos there and seeing if I can gain some followers. So if you're on TikTok, give me a follow. I need it. It's a brand new account. The handle is @SamGrubArt as well. For bigger project stuff, maybe more corporate stuff or like statement art pieces, things that are not necessarily bang on the nose like this illustration style that you see in these episodes, larger format things, you can check out my portfolio website. That's samgrub.co.uk. So go over there just to check out some different bits and bobs. And like I've said on the previous videos, kind of the reason why I'm doing this whole thing, this whole YouTube venture, the idea is to try and get a bigger client list and go towards the work that I want to do. So if that sounds like you, if you're interested in getting a piece of art commissioned, or if there's something I can do, whether you're opening a coffee shop with your friend and you need a logo and you need some illustrations to go on social media, get in touch with me. The email is contactdrawingandexploring@gmail.com. If you shoot me a line there, we can just talk about the project. The way I see it happening is it'd be awesome if someone shot me a line, figure out the small stuff, agree on what we're doing, then go forward with it. And maybe in the future on one of these episodes, I'll be sat doing a commission. This came from someone who's found me via YouTube. That'd be cool. But yeah, if that sounds like you, like I said, the email address is contactdrawingandexploring@gmail.com. But for now, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to jump back on this city bike. I think it's about a 10-minute ride back to the apartment, so it shouldn't be too bad, really. It's been a great day. It's been a hot day, but another great day in Mexico. This is actually the last Mexico episode for now, so I'm going to fly back home, and then I think the next episode that you guys will see will be something around Bring the Paint, the graffiti festival that goes on in my hometown, Leicester, in England. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you next time for another episode of Drawing and Exploring.